I look for the rider with a lot of feel, which I think as an instructor is the most difficult thing to teach, and it's the thing that I would value most when I look for a rider in the equitation and horsemanship. If they can get that degree of performance from that horse, regardless of the horse's talent, that they'll bring out the best that horse has to offer, and in a smooth and consistent, willing manner, so that it's not a rider that's just perched on a very broke horse, but one that's able to have the feel and experience to be able to develop those maneuvers with that horse. And I guess we would best define feel as a rider that's really utilizing not just their spur, not just their seat, but to me it's accumulation of all the aids that you would use with that horse and bringing out the best performance and teamwork that you can. So that's not just seat, leg, or spur, or hand or voice, but a combination of rider knowing what to use when, and what degree of seat, what degree of leg to use, when do they take hold with their hand and be able to do that, and be able to utilize all of those aids and communication tools that they have with their horse together so that to execute the best maneuver that they can get from that horse. Every horse that someone shows here, that every exhibitor has, is different in its perspective of its strengths and weaknesses. I really like to see a rider that can show a horse through its weaknesses as well. And if one that's perhaps not an easy horse to ride, that has a higher degree of difficulty, sometimes for that rider to be able to execute that. I think it's important for riders to note, as we look at maneuvers throughout the pattern, degree of difficulty. So it's not just, oh, I jogged from A to B and I did an arc at a jog, but what was your degree of difficulty that you asked for in that? Did you really execute a really strong 2-beat diagonal gait? Did you execute a 3-beat lope as was called for in there? When you went to the 2-point, did you really do what that maneuver was required? Is that like when you were going to a fence, did you have light contact with your reins? Was your leg in a good spot and tight, and was your horse performing with a degree of self-carriage that is plain good horsemanship and good equitation? And I would tell you that places do move. So riders that I've ranked in the pattern can move places on my card when we come in for the rail work on both, because that's kind of a freestyle maneuver right out there where they're on the rail, and they have to have their horse executing the gaits as we call them as well, but also exhibiting that same degree of feel and control and teamwork with their horse while negotiating a pretty full pen of horses at that time.